My name is Corinne McClintock, and for a little bit less than 2 weeks, I visited Chicago to do my senior project. For this project, I met with 16 women with jobs ranging from a psychotherapist and nurse practitioner to women involved in marketing and sales, and even an owner of a restaurant and a CEO of a major company. My time in Chicago was definitely insightful as I interviewed each of these women, asking questions such as, how old were you when you knew what you wanted to do in the world? And what has helped you most in achieving success so far in your career? The main question driving my entire project was, how does a woman become successful in the 21st century? And this video is packed with plenty of intel from the women who have done just that. Instead of clipping together all of the interviews into one video, I have gone through and recorded all of the different answers that I received for multiple questions to see some of the data from the women that I interviewed. My first question was involving introductions and the basics of what each woman does for a living. The majority of the women that I met with had jobs that were within the business field, but many of the women that I met with had jobs that involved multiple job fields, such as Dr. Jessica Emery. Dr. Emery started and owns a business called Sugar Fix Dental Loft, but her job also involves cosmetic dentistry. The second question that I decided to focus on for this presentation was asking if each woman would change anything about their college experience. The results for this question were pretty interesting, as about 46% of the women that I interviewed would change absolutely nothing. The rest of the most common results varied from wishing that they worked harder, that they worked less, or that they focused more on the relationships that they formed in college. My third question that I chose to focus on was, how old were you when you knew what you wanted to do in the world? This question was also really interesting, as about 42% of the women said that they had not figured that out yet and are still trying to learn. In contrast to that, another 42% of the women said that they had it entirely determined at or before the age of 20. The remaining 16% of women that I interviewed said that they had their role in the world determined between the ages of 21 and 50, and Linda McLaughlin, the CEO of the company Entera, talked about this in our interview.
Oh my gosh, I don't know, 40? It continues to evolve for me. And I still feel that there are things that I will do that I have not discovered yet. I think I knew, by my late 20s that I really did want to run my own company. Mm-hmm. I just am wired that way, and I had gotten such fantastic experiences, and then I went back to grad school and got my MBA, and I think all of that was kind of coming together for me so that I would have the courage to step out and build something. And I also took it in stages, right? But it has been an evolutionary process. And I think this idea that, we're supposed to know when we're 18 what we're going to do with the rest of our lives, I just think it's a joke. There's no way. And, I think about what I'll do in my 70s, and I don't have any idea.
The main question for my project that I asked during the interviews was, what is the definition of success? I received a wide variety of answers to this question, ranging from feeling passionate about your work to making a difference in the world and helping others. Instead of me talking about the responses to this question, I think it would be more beneficial to share the videos and audio clips that I took in many of the interviews.
If you're happy more often than you're not, you're probably pretty successful.
I think success is completely objective, so I think it's what makes you happy at the end of the day. You want to go home and feel like you had a successful day, right?
Well, I think there are a number of layers to that question, and one layer would be simply, I think anybody who's healthy and happy is a success. Mm-hmm. But then if you go deeper, what does success look like on a professional level, for example? Mm-hmm. It's the ability to make a living doing something that you love and something that you're good at and something that makes an impact.
I would say I probably define success as being confident in what you do, understanding where your gaps in your growth are, doing what you can to close those gaps, to keep yourself learning and always trying new things. And success for me, truthfully, is being able to enjoy what you do every single day. And you're not going to love every day. That's never going to happen. There's always ups and downs, but in general, waking up excited to go to work and being able to perform to the best of your ability in that job while always being able to better yourself.
I can help support my family and also be a good mom. That's how I define success.
I had 2 interviews over a phone call where I took notes, so I've decided to say the main ideas behind what they said. These are nearly exact quotes. Success is not financially driven for me. Instead, it is about what makes your day-to-day meaningful and how you're giving back and helping others. This next woman asked to not have her last name displayed in this video. This is a big question. Success looks different in different ways, and it doesn't necessarily have a set definition. I have goals, and I feel good when I accomplish them. I am always looking for the next thing and continuing to grow as a person, and I'm proud of everything that I've accomplished. Success feels like an end goal, and I am still in it. Everything is still in progress. All of these fantastic answers led me to question how they were able to achieve the success in their lives so far.
I think success is a relative word. Mm-hmm. So to me, success is finding balance, I think, between home life, your personal life, family life, and work life. So once you find that balance, because you don't want to, spend all your days just worried about work or you're doing that and then neglecting everything else at home. So you want to try to find that perfect balance.
All of these fantastic answers led me to question how they were able to achieve the success in their lives so far.
I think for me it was about having direction early on. Yeah. I think because I knew I wanted to go in this direction. Now there could be different paths in that direction, but at least going out that way, then it's easier for me to measure things and say, well, I did this and I did this and I did this, because I didn't plan the future, like my 5-year plan or anything like that. I didn't do that. Yeah. But I just said, I'm going to do food, I'm going to go to university, I'm going to get a job, and then as opportunities came, and then I was very open, and then as opportunities came by, I said, okay, I want to do this, I want to do this, and I was able to grow and develop at that stage. So I think initially, being able to point yourself in the right, in a good direction, and then being open to opportunities.
Resiliency. Yeah. I think that, my path in particular was not easy. I could have given up at any process. My family they have money. I could have gone to my grandma and said, I don't want to do this. Let's open a business for me and whatever. You know what I mean? But, this is what I wanted to do. This was my goal. This was, I wanted to achieve this. So I think that in life, you're going to get hit in the face, if I can say this, so many times. The most successful people in the world have been told no a million times. You look at Steve Jobs and his journey, and Bill Gates and all of these people, they were told that their ideas were crazy and revolutionary and whatever, right? They were told no, they were kicked out of their own companies, right? But they were resilient and they kept pushing forward. So I think that that's really important, especially if you are the type of person who likes to be innovative. People are going to say no. People are going to reject your ideas. People are going to push back. But it's up to you to find a way around it, stand up, and keep pushing forward, because eventually it's going to work.
Staying true to your values, for me. Staying grounded in what's important to you, and keeping that at the forefront. Because, if you have that, then when you make decisions, you don't have to look back and say, I should have done this. Are there times I wish I've made a different choice, and had a different outcome? Absolutely. I think being able to look back and say, here's what I would have done differently is really important.
Dr. Jessica Emery contacted me with the answers to each question after I left Chicago, as we did not get the chance to chat while I was there. Here's her response. The most important thing for me has been staying true to me and following my gut. Having a strong vision and believing have been crucial.
I think really getting to a point where I'm passionate about what I do, really, and again, like, I am making a difference, and I am improving lives, and I can see it. I couldn't be a business person because I don't think it's enough. There's not enough tangible to me. Like, I see my patients and I can follow them and in a way that, okay, yeah, I see they come back and they're like, this is improving their lives, and that's huge to me.
In addition to these insightful opinions of success, many of the women had interesting responses to the question, what obstacles or struggles have you encountered as a woman in your job field? I've decided to include 2 different responses from Alessandra Gelman, a category engineer at Unilever, and Lindsay Stewart, a woman that was previously involved in the business field.
I think, like, gaining respect, like, for me, like, not here in particular at Unilever because they're very diverse, but, like, in other companies where, like, I'd had to go out of my way, like, to prove myself, and even when I did, and when I did successfully achieve something, some of the credit was always taken away or undermined, like, oh, yeah, like, somebody else already did this work and, like, you just piggybacked off that work, or this was really obvious, anybody could have done it, right? So, I mean, I hate blaming things on the fact that I'm a woman, or, like, I hate thinking that way because then you're going to subconsciously fit the stereotype when I fight really hard not to. So, like, I try not to think about that. I try to navigate things and do my job really well. I try not to take it personally, and I just move forward. Some people will treat you different, but some people won't. So, like, it's up to you to, like, navigate that and, like, take it with a grain of salt and just enjoy what you're doing, right? Because if you take everything personally, you're just going to destroy yourself.
In many environments, technology, all the typical corporate stuff, the environment's very masculine. And that is a big obstacle because it works on your head. And it makes you lonely. And it makes you feel like you don't belong. And it does leave you out of sort of that easy conversation with colleagues that can help develop those relationships. You know, like, if everybody's talking about the Chicago, let's say I was young again and working, if everybody was talking about the Chicago Bears, I don't care about the Bears. But most guys care at least enough to be able to talk about it in a business setting, as an example. So the constant second guessing that a masculine environment can create in your head. And as you go along, the personal journey for most women is you start out young, taking it because you're confused and you don't know what's going on. And then as you get older, it becomes very clear what's going on. And guys are getting promoted more than women. I mean, Walmart now is having yet another lawsuit. And so you do see guys getting ahead faster than you. And then, of course, there's that whole question of how are you going to balance having children. Not so much getting the maternity leave, you'll get that, but you have to go back to work, and you really don't want to work 50 hours a week anymore. So how are you going to balance that?
The very last question that I used in every interview was about any advice or important lessons that each woman has for a woman that will soon be going into college and getting a job in today's work climate. Again, rather than speaking for each woman, I've decided to simply let them speak for themselves.
Educate yourself. Learn as much as you can about the world, and do what my mentor said. Discover your purpose in life. Learn what it is that motivates you, that pushes your buttons, that really gets you excited about something, whatever that is, and then dedicate your life to it. That would be my advice.
Think about the intersection of what you enjoy and what you're good at, because I know people that love their jobs and those who don't love their jobs. People who love their jobs are much happier, definitely have goals and directions. It has also been helpful to be open-minded, especially for new opportunities. It is always important to continue growing and improving to become successful.
Okay, here's my advice. Wait to have kids until your 30s. Really go over this with your husband, with the guy that you fall in love with, that you want to marry. Because what's enabled me to have a good career and no regrets is I have a fabulous husband.
You should try as much as you are able to like what you do. Because you got to do it for a long time. And to not be hard on yourself if you don't know exactly what you want to do. Because if you look at life as, I'm going to constantly be growing and learning and transforming, then everything you do is just another part of that learning. And if you don't like it, you can switch, you move on to something else.
I would say just expand your network as much as you can, because you never know down the road who's going to, really benefit you. You're not going to stay in one job forever. It's not, 50 years ago, people kind of picked a job and stayed there. My mom did, for sure. My dad did. We're not in that society anymore. So you're going to change careers, and that's okay. And so having that network available to you is huge. Especially in college, there's a lot of women in engineering, women in STEM, women in whatever societies, and those are great networks because you tend to keep up those bonds down the road. And so then just networking with women in your same career field really helps build your confidence as you're going through that. And also, you can be candid with each other and talk about what you do and don't want in life, which might be different than men, and that's okay. So I think and then also just have fun. When you're going to college, don't take it too seriously. I did. I took it too seriously, and I miss it. So try to have a little bit of fun between the hard work. Make a lot of friends, and then when you go into your career path, do the same thing. Try and make the most of it. Bad days are going to come, but they're going to go too, and the good days are going to make it better.
I would, if you know that there were certain areas that you were weak on, especially from a business perspective and going into a business, I would, I would meet people that have their own businesses, because now there's so much entrepreneurship out there, and I would meet people, what does that involve, and etc. And don't be frightened to talk to people and learn from them. And that would just fast track you, because there's no point in repeating the mistakes and etc. that have been made before.
Study hard, work hard. Don't let all the peer pressures get to you, and there's always going to be time for parties later. So just concentrate more on your studies. Specifically, if there's something you want to do or a field that you want to get into, I would focus on that definitely, and do whatever you can to follow that route. But yeah, definitely stay in school and focus on your studies, because everything else will just fall into place afterwards.
Try to lean towards which careers require a master's degree. It is so important to become more marketable for yourself, and to do that, it is crucial to continue your education.
Have fun. Enjoy yourself. Don't work too hard in school. Hard enough. Don't party too much, but have some fun. Also learn who you are. It's a great time of self-discovery. You get to start all over. You're not going to really know anyone. You're going to be meeting a whole bunch of new people. You get to reinvent yourself. So any stereotypes, anything that you had in high school, you don't have to take those forward. So you get to decide who you want to be. It gives you a test to see, okay, who am I as a person? Test it out, see how you like it. And if you don't like it when you start a new job, you get to start all over again. But it gives you time to really be you without some of the stereotypes that may have grown up with you.
Yeah, and know that, if you're setting a career path, that it may change, and be okay. Don't beat yourself up about it. It's all right. And be flexible in that. Do enjoy college. It's really important, because that really can create some life like relationships and friends, and I didn't cultivate them in the way that I would have liked because I was so focused in getting good grades and, you know. Did I graduate magna cum laude? Yes, I did. Does that matter right now? No. No, it doesn't.
I think that my advice to you is, and I repeat it straight, stay true to yourself. Don't change who you are, no matter what people tell you. Like, there is a place for you. There is a group of people that will like you for who you are. But I also think that when you are going through the storm and when it seems like the world is falling apart, instead of like freaking out, like if you're drowning, start thinking about what are the things that you can learn from the storm, right? So like, can you make your roof stronger so it doesn't get pulled out? Like, can you prepare? Can you like stock some food? Or like, you know, like think about the things that you can learn from that bad situation and take it for the best and do it better next time.
In life, you decide if you're going to get in the arena or if you're going to have a cheap seat. And a lot of people choose the cheap seats. And in the cheap seats, you basically take a job and you criticize others, and you can say you weren't doing that so well, and you can write comments online, and you can, you know, do whatever you want and kind of take some cheap shots. And I would hope that you or any girl, and certainly my daughters, would never be someone in the cheap seats. The problem is that to get into the arena, you're going to get your ass kicked. I mean, not, and as Brene Brown says, not you have to be willing to, but you will. You are going to fail miserably. You are going to have people say what you did was absolutely wrong. You are going to make colossal mistakes. And people are going to eat you alive. And that's just part of being in it and getting real. You're also going to have some great successes, right? And that's the way I want to live my life.
I think that one thing that my dad said to me when I was younger was like, your 20s aren't for making money, your 20s are for figuring out what you want to do, and your 30s are for making money. Unfortunately, my 30s haven't proven that much better for making money so far. But I will say that idea of worrying about money, like live in shitty apartments, live with a ton of roommates, live in a safe place, but live with a ton of roommates. Don't worry about your lifestyle. Don't worry about impressing people. Don't worry about having a nice car, nice clothes. Worry about figuring out what you want to do with the rest of your life, because it's longer than you think. And I think that, you know, there's a ton of stuff out there. And in my experience, everyone who follows their passion, who has some intelligence and some wherewithal and some empathy and some idea of their place in the world, finds their way to something. And people who try to go after the money too early wind up going after the money forever and usually don't even find it. But, you know, if you're passionate about finance, then go into finance, sure. But if that's not your passion, you'll do better following your passion as long as you start early and just go after it relentlessly, I think.
Do you. Stay in your own lane and get out of your own way. Keep your eyes on the prize. Leap and the net will appear.
Never be afraid to talk about money, or never be afraid to tell people what you want, especially if you don't have it today. I see, unfortunately, too many females get upset because they think they're not being paid fairly. They think they're not advancing in their career fast enough, but they never say a word, ever. So it's important to have advocates wherever you are.
I am so happy to have had this fantastic experience in Chicago interviewing all of these successful women, and I would not hesitate to do it all again. Thank you for watching.